Last time I got looked down upon was when I was applying for an internship. It was time to do interviews and everybody was around in a circle talking about where do we come from and what school. Everybody was saying Hunter, other out-of-state colleges. And then there was people from BFCC. They would start talking, saying, is that school even any good for you? Like, do they even teach coding well? But the program so far hasn't been bad. It's just people have heard wrong about that school most of the time. Sometimes I do get ashamed of talking about my school because people think I come from a school that is like kind of like high school when it really isn't. Some programs in that school teach really well, depending on the professor you choose. If you pick a professor that you have not looked up online, then it'll probably feel like high school to most of you. I usually get over it by using online courses and teach myself things that higher ranked schools be teaching to other students. I believe there isn't, due to some professors not following the curriculum. They usually just like to teach the things that they believe is right for the students to know and not follow with what the school is teaching. Not really, because my professor has told me many times that even though I applied to an internship or a job after a community college, I'm not guaranteed to get the job because most of the time they prefer people that have a bachelor's degree.
Because I feel like a lot of private schools have the same, like, especially like going away, you kind of have the same experience with like dorming, parties, not living at home, roommates and all that, like the whole experience you can get anywhere. But I guess like school specifically, like different schools have different little nuances. So I do hear a lot of stories about like Syracuse kids, a lot of them get like recruited by companies very quickly outside of school, like right after they graduate. I hear so many stories about that. But I also do think it depends on your major and like if you really, like the actions you do in college. Because like if you're out here applying to internships, talking to professors, like you will have like a much higher chance of getting a job instead of someone who just like goes to classes and parties and like gets good grades and that's it. Yeah, I do think it's about connections, but my school's reputation does have a really huge effect into it. Because you hear a lot of stories, like more stories that you hear from Syracuse is like, oh yeah, like you hear stories about kids that go into interviews and they're like, oh, you went to Syracuse? So did I, here's a job. You hear a lot of that, but I don't think that's, oh no. I don't think just because I go to a private school, I'm all fancy and better than someone who goes to a CUNY. Because like, we're both out here getting an education. And I'm technically getting the short end of the stick because I'm gonna be in a shit ton of debt for the rest of my fucking life. I don't know. Because like, better the school, better the job. Like the more you pay, the more, Oh. I mean, probably. I would say, not like I agree with it, but like the way this world works, I think it will. Unless your personality outshines, like you know how there's like special cases where someone who goes to like a lower ranking school, but like is super hardworking and has this amazing like work ethic and all this like qualifications. It goes a step beyond, you know. But like going to a good school itself already gives you like a step up in general. Like I do know that like Kingsborough just gets shit on a lot, like the butt of the joke, aha, you go to Kingsborough, but like honestly, like they're going to college, they're getting an education, that's what matters. Like they're putting in the effort to like, I think going to any college is better than not going to a college at all. Because like even if Kingsborough is just like a 2-year school, you're still taking a step somewhere. You're still putting your effort towards something. You know, instead of just giving up, being like, oh, I don't want to go to Kingsborough, let me just not go to college at all. Because like from Kingsborough, you can transfer into something bigger and better. No. I'm in like freshman year, you take a lot of introductory courses that are kind of like meant for general knowledge stuff, and I think the further I go into my education, like junior year, senior year, I'll be doing more career-like stuff. So at the moment, no, my courses do not reflect the real world. Are you done?
The way I self-teach, the way I get over it is by self-teaching myself with online courses. I try to look online and what my major, my fault. The way I get over it is by learning online courses and try to learn skills that my fault.
This is a test, so like, guys, you can say something.
Okay. I don't know what to say.